Hey everyone, and welcome to English with Ethan. Today, we're doing an explainer on a topic that hits close to home for so many of us, overcoming the fear of speaking. And I actually want to kick things off today with a beautiful English story written in easy English to help improve your listening, your vocabulary, and most importantly, your confidence. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully. Let's begin. Our story is about a young boy from a small town named Ryan. He was quiet and naturally shy. He wanted to speak English fluently, but every single time he tried, he just froze. He felt afraid. At school, his classmates actually laughed when he made mistakes, and because of this, Ryan just stopped speaking English in front of others entirely. We've all kind of been there, right? Well, one evening, Ryan met an old librarian named Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas smiled and asked him, "Why do you look so sad?" And Ryan answered, "I want to speak English, but I always make mistakes." The old man smiled again and delivered this wonderfully encouraging piece of advice. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner. Those words completely changed Ryan's perspective. They really stayed in his heart. The very next day, Ryan made a promise to himself. He decided he would practice English every single day, starting with just 10 minutes. He listened to simple English stories, he repeated every sentence out loud, and he learned 5 new words every day. He even spoke to himself in English while walking and watched English videos without subtitles. Now, at first, it was incredibly difficult. Sometimes he couldn't understand anything. Sometimes he really wanted to quit. But he remembered Mr. Thomas's words and flat out refused to give up, little by little becoming better. Fast forward 3 months, and something amazing happened. His confidence grew. He was no longer terrified of making mistakes. He finally understood they were actually helping him become stronger. Then one day, his teacher asked the class, "Who would like to tell today's story in English?" The classroom went totally silent. But then, Ryan slowly stood up. His hands were shaking, his heart was beating super fast, but he started speaking. His English was not perfect, he definitely made a few mistakes, but he continued speaking with confidence. And when he finished, the whole room clapped. For the first time, Ryan smiled proudly. He realized that success doesn't come from being perfect. Success comes from never giving up. And that's the moral here. Every fluent English speaker starts with mistakes. Practice every day, be patient, believe in yourself, and one day you will speak confidently. Okay, let's dive into this. How do we actually put Ryan's story into practice? Part 1, the 15-minute daily habit. Here is a brilliantly structured daily routine from Oxford Spoken English. It's basically a daily workout for your speaking muscles, and we're going to walk through it right now. Minutes 1 to 3, that's your warm-up. Just talk to yourself out loud about what you're doing. I am making coffee. I am opening the window. Stuff like that. Minutes 4 to 7, listen to a short audio clip and repeat after a native speaker. Minutes 8 to 10, put 3 to 5 new vocabulary words into your own spoken sentences. Minutes 11 to 13, practice spontaneous speaking by answering a simple question aloud. And finally, minutes 14 to 15, just recap and reflect on what you just did. Just 15 minutes of focused effort builds immense muscle memory. I really want to highlight the technique used in minutes 4 to 7 of that routine. It's called shadowing. You're basically acting like an echo. You listen carefully to a speaker and repeat out loud. Now, the goal here isn't to have absolutely flawless, perfect pronunciation right out of the gate. No, it is simply about consistent repetition to naturally adopt the rhythm and flow of the language. It makes speaking feel so much more natural over time. So the absolute golden rule for this entire routine, and honestly for speaking in general, is this. You have to force your brain to think directly in English. You've got to stop translating. Seriously, the most exhausting trap language learners fall into is translating every single sentence from their native language into English in their head before they speak. It is so slow and it causes massive hesitation. You literally have to bypass your native language. It feels tricky at first, I know, but your brain absolutely will adapt. All right, moving on to part 2, mastering your self-introduction. When you look at people actively engaging in confident, face-to-face conversations, it looks effortless, doesn't it? But what you're actually witnessing is a predictable sequence. Real-world conversations have an order, a greeting, sharing some background, stating a purpose. By understanding and practicing that specific sequence, you dramatically lower your anxiety when you finally step up to speak to a real person. So to make this easy, let's break down this highly effective 5-step framework from the experts at Preply. Step 1, your greeting and name. Easy. Step 2, your location, where you're from. Step 3, your role or job. Step 4, your purpose for being there. Why are you in this conversation? And step 5, share a quick personal interest and then end with a question to pass the conversation back to them.
Having this basic structure memorized completely prevents those awkward, totally silent pauses that usually derail introductions.
Now, while you're practicing that introduction, there are a few common mistakes you should actively avoid. First off, don't confuse your listeners by jumping back and forth between past and present tenses. Just pick one and stick to it. Second, keep your biographical details incredibly simple. Less is absolutely more here. You don't need to recite your whole life story. Always state your purpose so your listener isn't left guessing. But the biggest thing, don't let the fear of minor grammatical errors stop you from introducing yourself. Perfection is entirely unnecessary.
Okay, part 3. This is a big one. Practice speaking with AI. To truly improve today, you need the ultimate mix of study methods. On one hand, you have solo practice. It's great because it gives you the space to fail safely without anyone hearing, but it can feel a bit artificial, right? There's no pushback. On the other hand, we now have AI practice. AI gives you the unpredictability of a real conversation. It applies real-life conversational pressure, but, and this is the best part, with zero judgment. Using both of these methods together is absolutely the fastest way to bridge the gap between just knowing English in your head and actually speaking it out loud.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this exact prompt. I highly recommend you pull out your phone and take a screenshot of this right now. This comes directly from a community of language learners on Reddit. You can literally copy and paste this exact paragraph into ChatGPT. It tells the AI to act as a patient coach, to ask you one question at a time, and to give you gentle corrections after you respond. It is instant, totally free speaking practice available 24/7. How cool is that?
And practicing with AI allows you to do something super helpful: low-stakes role play. You can tell the AI to pretend to be a hotel clerk, or a strict job interviewer, or a server at a busy restaurant. It perfectly prepares you for the real world, because when you mess up, and listen, you will mess up. We all do. You get to practice repairing those mistakes mid-sentence without any real-world consequences or embarrassment. Doing this creates what I like to call the ultimate feedback loop, but you have to do it right. Step 1, you must speak your answers aloud to the AI using the voice feature. Don't just type. Step 2, review the grammar corrections the AI provides. Step 3, this is crucial, read the newly corrected sentence out loud 3 times to train your mouth to say it right. And step 4, keep a notebook and write down your common mistake patterns. This entire process forces you to actively train your muscles to fix errors, rather than just passively reading a screen. If you want to take this to the next level, here's a brilliant 30-day challenge blueprint to systematically go from a fearful beginner to a really confident speaker. Week 1 is just about the habit. Speak out loud every day. Totally ignore mistakes. Week 2, focus on having the AI ask you follow-up questions to build up your conversation endurance. Week 3, start reviewing those grammar corrections heavily. And week 4, the fluency challenge. Force yourself to speak on a single topic for 1 full minute without stopping. Which brings us to our final section, part 4, consistency over perfection. Always remember this mindset. English is like riding a bicycle. You don't learn it by reading a book, you learn it by practicing. I love this analogy because it's so incredibly true. You can't just read the manual. You have to physically get on the bike, wobble around a bit, and fall down. Making mistakes isn't failing, it is quite literally the only way your brain learns how to balance. So the crucial takeaway today is this. You need to take the pressure off yourself right now. Your goal is not flawless grammar. Actually, scratch that. Your goal is never to be totally flawless. Your goal is simply to speak confidently. Aim for daily micro wins. Just showing up, opening your mouth to speak, and trying to improve just a tiny bit every single day is exactly how fluency is built. So I'm going to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. What will your English sound like in 30 days? I challenge you to take action today. Try the 15-minute routine. Introduce yourself to the mirror using the 5 steps. Talk to an AI tutor. Embrace your mistakes, wobble on that bicycle, and just imagine your own incredible progress a month from now if you just start today. You've got this!